This tiny 2 euro cent coin might look dirty, scratched, faded, or even ready for the junk jar, but what if I told you that some ordinary-looking 2-cent coins have sold for hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases even more to the right collector? Hidden among billions of coins are a handful of valuable treasures that most people overlook every single day. Before you spend another old euro coin, you need to know the warning signs that could turn a forgotten piece of pocket change into a surprising payday. First, coin. Most people would never give a dirty 2002 2 euro cent coin a second look. It's one of those tiny copper-colored coins that often ends up forgotten in a drawer, tossed into a jar, or left behind at the bottom of a purse. But here's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Sometimes the coins that look the least impressive turn out to be the ones collectors want the most. And if you happen to own the right 2002 2 euro cent coin, you could be holding a surprisingly valuable piece of pocket change. The year 2002 was historic because it marked the beginning of euro coins entering circulation across much of Europe. Millions of people were using these new coins for the first time, and mints across the continent worked around the clock producing massive quantities. While most 2002 2 euro-cent coins remain common today, certain examples have become highly sought after by collectors because of low mintages, unusual varieties, exceptional condition, or rare minting mistakes. Imagine reaching into an old coin jar and finding a worn 2002 2 euro-cent piece covered in scratches and discoloration. Most people would assume it is worth exactly 2 cents. Yet experienced collectors know that age, rarity, and special characteristics can completely change a coin's value. That is why coin hunters carefully inspect every detail before deciding whether a coin is ordinary or extraordinary. One of the first things collectors examine is the country that issued the coin. During the first year of euro circulation, different nations produced their own versions featuring unique national designs. Some countries released significantly fewer coins than others, creating scarcity that continues to attract collectors decades later. A coin that appears completely ordinary may actually be much harder to find than people realize. Condition is another factor that can dramatically affect value. Even though many valuable coins are discovered in circulation, collectors still pay premium prices for examples that retain sharp details and original surfaces. A 2002 coin that escaped years of heavy use can attract far more attention than one that spent decades changing hands. This is why experts recommend checking every coin carefully before spending it. But the real excitement begins when minting errors enter the picture. During large production runs, mistakes occasionally occur. These errors can include off-center strikes, design misalignments, unusual metal characteristics, or other production anomalies. Most errors are caught before coins leave the mint, but a few slip through into circulation. When collectors discover these unusual pieces, competition can become intense because no two error coins are exactly alike. Next, coin. At first glance, a 2003 2 euro-cent coin might be one of the least exciting coins in your collection. It's small, copper-colored, and often covered with years of wear from countless transactions. Many people barely notice these coins anymore. Some end up forgotten in old jars, tossed into drawers, or mixed with foreign change collected during vacations. But what if one of those ordinary-looking coins was worth far more than its face value? That possibility is exactly why collectors pay close attention to 2003 2 euro-cent coins. While millions were produced, not all of them are equally common today. Certain issues from specific countries have become surprisingly difficult to find, especially in higher grades. Add in the possibility of minting errors and unusual varieties, and suddenly this tiny coin becomes much more interesting than most people realize. Imagine sorting through a handful of old euro coins and spotting a worn 2003 piece that looks darker than the others. The edges are scratched, the surface appears dirty, and the coin seems destined for the spend pile. Most people would never think twice about it. A collector, however, sees something different. They know that appearances often hide valuable details. One of the most important clues is the country that issued the coin. During the early years of the euro, different nations produced varying numbers of coins. Some countries released huge quantities while others struck far fewer pieces. As the years passed, many of these coins disappeared from circulation, making surviving examples increasingly desirable to collectors trying to complete sets. The year 2003 is especially interesting because it came immediately after the introduction of the euro. By then, the excitement surrounding the new currency was still fresh. Mints continued producing coins to meet demand, but some issues ended up with lower mintages than collectors expected. Decades later, these differences continue to influence collector interest. Condition can also play a major role in value. Most 2003 2-euro-cent coins spent years passing from hand to hand. They paid for coffee, groceries, bus rides, and countless everyday purchases. Every transaction added a little more wear. As a result, coins that remain sharp and attractive are often much harder to find than heavily circulated examples. Next coin. If you found a 2004 2-euro-cent coin in your pocket today, chances are you wouldn't think much about it. It's one of the smallest denominations in the euro system, and many people consider it almost worthless. Some end up forgotten in jars, dropped into donation boxes, or left untouched in old collections. But that assumption is exactly why certain valuable coins remain hidden for years. What looks like a common piece of change could actually be a coin collectors are willing to pay serious money to own. The story of the 2004 2-euro-cent coin begins during the early years of the euro currency. By 2004, the new monetary system had already become a part of daily life across much of Europe. Millions of people used euro coins every day, and mints continued producing vast quantities to keep up with demand. Yet not every coin issued that year was created equal. Some 2004 2-euro-cent coins were struck in much smaller numbers than others. Certain countries produced lower mintages, and over time these coins became increasingly difficult to locate. As years passed, many disappeared into private collections, coin albums, and long-forgotten storage boxes. This gradual reduction in available examples helped increase collector interest. Imagine a retired traveler sorting through souvenirs from a European vacation taken decades ago. Mixed among receipts, postcards, and photographs is a small handful of euro coins. Most appear ordinary. Then one 2004 2-euro-cent coin catches the eye of a collector who recognizes something special about its origin. Suddenly, a coin that spent years ignored in a drawer becomes a sought-after collectible. That possibility is one of the reasons coin collecting remains so exciting. Valuable discoveries often happen when people least expect them. Unlike gold bars or rare gemstones, collectible coins frequently hide among everyday objects. They blend into piles of loose change, waiting for someone to notice the details that others overlook. One of the first things collectors examine is the country of issue. Every euro nation places its own national design on one side of the coin. Some countries produced enormous numbers of coins, while others issued far fewer. These differences can create scarcity, especially when collectors attempt to complete country-by-country collections. Next coin. A worn-out 2005 2-euro-cent coin might not seem like the kind of thing that could grab a collector's attention. Most people see these tiny copper-colored coins as little more than loose change. They get tossed into jars, left in cup holders, forgotten in drawers, and sometimes even thrown away. But in the world of coin collecting, appearances can be incredibly deceiving. Some coins that look old, dirty, scratched, and completely ordinary have surprised their owners with values far beyond their face value. That's why collectors never ignore a 2005 2-euro-cent coin without taking a closer look. At first glance, it may seem identical to countless others. Yet hidden details can make all the difference. A specific country, a scarce issue, an unusual variety, or even a minting mistake can transform an everyday coin into a sought-after collectible. Imagine opening an old box filled with foreign coins collected over the years. Most of the pieces seem insignificant. Then you spot a 2005 2-euro-cent coin buried beneath the others. It has dark copper toning, visible scratches, and signs of years in circulation. To most people, it's just another coin. To a collector, it's a mystery waiting to be solved. One of the first clues collectors examine is where the coin was issued. Every euro nation places its own design on one side of the coin, and some countries produced far fewer 2-euro-cent coins than others. This difference in production numbers can have a major impact on collector demand years later. When the euro was still relatively new, many nations adjusted their production levels based on demand. Some years saw enormous mintages, while others were much smaller. As time passed and coins disappeared from circulation, certain issues became harder to locate. That scarcity is one reason collectors continue searching through old change today. The 2005 issue sits at an interesting point in euro history. By then, the currency had become firmly established across much of Europe. Millions of people used euro coins every day, creating a constant flow of circulation. As a result, many 2005 coins accumulated significant wear, making well-preserved examples increasingly desirable. Next coin. If you found a 2006 2-euro-cent coin in your pocket today, chances are you wouldn't think twice about it. It's one of the smallest denominations in the euro system, often overlooked and rarely appreciated. Most people see it as spare change worth almost nothing. But coin collectors know a different story. Hidden among millions of ordinary-looking coins are a few special pieces that can command surprising premiums, and some begin with nothing more than a tiny 2006 2-euro-cent coin. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that value often hides behind an ordinary appearance. A coin doesn't need to be shiny, beautiful, or made of precious metal to attract collector interest. In fact, some of the most exciting discoveries start with coins that look worn out, scratched, dirty, or completely forgotten. Imagine reaching into an old container filled with loose change collected over many years. Buried beneath newer coins is a dark copper-colored 2006 2-euro-cent coin. It looks rough around the edges. The surface shows signs of wear, and the coin appears to have spent years in circulation. Most people would toss it aside without a second thought. A collector would do the opposite. Collectors know that the first step is identifying the issuing country. Every euro nation uses a common side but features its own national design on the other. This means a 2006 2-euro-cent coin from one country may be far scarcer than the same denomination from another. Those differences are exactly what make the hunt so exciting. As the years pass, certain coins become increasingly difficult to find. Some countries produced fewer examples. Others saw large numbers disappear into private collections. Some were simply lost to time. The result is that not all 2006 2-euro-cent coins are equally common today. The year 2006 occupies an interesting place in euro history. By this point, the currency had become fully integrated into everyday life across much of Europe. Millions of transactions occurred daily using euro coins. Every coffee purchase, newspaper sale, and grocery trip sent coins moving from one person to another. Next coin. A scratched, dirty, and slightly dull-looking 2008 2-euro-cent coin might seem like nothing more than leftover pocket change. It's small, easy to overlook, and often mixed with other coins that look almost identical. Most people would never imagine that something so insignificant could ever be worth more than its face value. But in the world of coin collecting, that assumption has been proven wrong time and time again. Collectors know that even modern-looking coins like the 2008 2-euro-cent can hold hidden surprises. While millions were minted and circulated across Europe, not every coin is treated equally in the eyes of collectors. Some become far more interesting depending on where they were minted, how many were produced, and what condition they survive in today. Imagine emptying a pocket full of change after a long trip and noticing a worn 2008 2-euro-cent coin. The surface is scratched, the color has darkened with age, and it looks like it has passed through countless hands. Most people would barely glance at it before spending it again. But a collector pauses, because they understand that value is not always visible at first sight. The first thing collectors consider is the issuing country. Even though euro coins share a common design across many nations, each country produces its own national side. This means two coins with the same year and denomination can still have very different levels of scarcity depending on where they were minted. Some countries produce far fewer coins in certain years, and those differences can matter greatly over time. The year 2008 is particularly interesting because by this point, the euro was fully established across the region. Coins were in constant circulation, used daily for everything from small purchases to everyday transactions. That heavy circulation means many surviving examples today show significant wear, making well-preserved pieces increasingly desirable. Condition plays a huge role in how collectors view a coin. A 2008 2-euro-cent coin that has remained sharp, with clear details still visible, stands out immediately compared to heavily worn examples. Even though it is a modern coin, time in circulation naturally reduces the number of high-quality survivors. That scarcity of well-preserved coins is often overlooked by casual observers. But what really excites collectors is the possibility of something unusual.